Today on The Champions, we take a look at some of the great motorbike riders, including charming Italian Valentino Rossi, one of the finest riders of the modern era, Joel Smets, a rider with more than 10 world titles to his name, Dougie Lampkin, and one of racing's all-time greats with more than 40 GP wins, Max Biaggi. All that and more on The Champions. Charismatic Italian Valentino Rossi has a passion for high-speed machines, and his skill on the circuit is indicative of his mighty talent. The crowd-pleasing master of motorcycles developed his love of racing from his father, Graziano, a 250cc world champion place-getter in the 1970s. Now the father and son team seem to attract a lot of attention world over, and why not? Racing is in their blood. It's said that Valentino takes 1 year to learn and 1 year to win, and nothing has been more evident in his rise to the top of the Grand Prix circuit. Born in Urbino, Italy in 1979, Valentino began competition racing in mini-motos in 1990. His talent on two wheels soon attracted international attention, and his move up through the 125 and 250 ranks was swift, taking a world championship in both classes. As all professional bike riders know, you need to expect the spills to come with the thrills, and unfortunately for Valentino, he too has had the occasional bone-crunching crash, though to date nothing too serious. In 2000, the talented Italian made his debut for Honda in the 500cc class, and by 2001 had his first world championship under his belt, becoming the youngest rider in the world to win titles in 3 different classes. His riding style is daring, and the continuous pressure he puts on his opponents often brings them unstuck, leaving the track clear for the master to take the checkered flag. Willing to try any type of motorsport, Valentino was given the opportunity to drive in the Rally of Great Britain, driving a Michelin Peugeot 206 WRC. Valentino had already driven World Rally cars in the past, in events like the Michelin Race of Champions and the Bologna Rally Sprint, but this race was different. After testing sessions on gravel roads in the mountains of Italy, it gave the driver a chance to come to grips with the powerful machine in genuine rally stage conditions. Valentino's interest in rallying began at an early age, watching his father compete. Following in his father's footsteps, the skillful driver relished the chance to get behind the wheel. But will this mean a change in careers? Somehow, I don't think so.
Now it's only for passion, it's only for fun. I think we stay with the motorbike, I hope, for some years.
Once again exchanging 2 wheels for 4 in a rallycross race in Telde, Gran Canaria, Spain, Valentino raced against his father, Graziano, in a warm-up for the annual Race of Champions Nations Cup. The event featured stars from motor rallying, motor racing and motorcycling, representing 8 countries, including defending champion France, led by rally driver Gilles Pinizzi, racing driver Paul Belmondo and motocross rider Oliver Jacques. Valentino, along with Mickey Biasson and Emmanuel Pirro, made up the Italian challenge in the 8-team competition. Valentino had just come off an extremely successful year, winning the 500cc class to claim a title in all 3 fields. He rode his Honda to 11 wins out of 16 races, claiming a total of 325 points. But rallying is a different story altogether, with racing held on a 2.6-kilometre asphalt and granite circuit. Whether the Rossi men are racing against each other or working together, they certainly know how to enjoy themselves. At the end of the day, it was a big thumbs up. Taking time out of his hectic schedule whilst in Africa, Valentino visited the locals in an attempt to raise awareness of AIDS. At the Morning Star Children's Centre, he met with the children, all who carry the virus, then discussed the problems with the centre's founder, Joan Adams. Thrilled to have a world champion at their centre, the children laughed and danced, then lined up for an autograph from the charming Italian. Happy to be involved in the AIDS campaign, Valentino only hopes that he can make a difference. Valentino's love of the track and his natural showmanship has created an action-packed atmosphere for his fans. With statistics such as winning 38 Grand Prix titles before turning 23, making him the only rider in the 53 years of the sport to do so, Valentino has the crowd waiting with bated breath to see just what he's going to do next. His exciting riding style and flamboyant personality never fails to keep the crowd on the edge of their seats. He is the king of the track, the master of the crowd, and deep down, just an Italian boy wowing the world and enjoying every minute of it. With more than 10 world titles to his name, Dougie Lampkin is fast becoming a motorcycle legend. While some sportsmen may struggle with such a degree of early success, this broad-shouldered Brit has remained unaffected by his fame and has remained totally motivated to achieve greater success. Dougie has the right pedigree to cope with his victories, as his father Martin, who was Britain's last World Trials champion back in 1975, has closely guided him and his rapidly rising trial bike career. Despite the bloodline, no one in the family or in the sport of trials has achieved anywhere near the success of the latest Lampkin. 6 outdoor and 5 indoor titles in 6 years confirm just how unbelievably talented and dominating Dougie's recent performances have been. In September 2002, he clinched his 6th successive FIM Outdoor Trials World Championship title. Since capturing his first World Championship point at just 17 years of age, Dougie has matured into a virtually unbeatable trials rider, winning every indoor and outdoor world title since 1997, an unparalleled and unbroken run that will be hard to beat. The basis of trial results is determined by judging the skill and regularity of the rider. For this reason, it's not surprising that as soon as Adam Raga's unique riding style became more consistent, he quickly became an indoor world champion. Throughout his teenage years, Adam amazed the crowds with his excellent form and stylish performances. It quickly became apparent that it was his rear-wheel approach that made him stand apart from the rest of the field. 2003 began as an amazing year as Adam achieved his first great success by winning the Indoor World Championship at only 20 years of age. This turned out not only to be a success for Adam, but also for his team, Gas, who had never before achieved an indoor world title. The 2003 season saw Adam take the top step no less than 6 times in the 10-round series, clearly demonstrating more confidence than any other rider. His consistency and determination explained why he was able to repeatedly finish on top. On winning the 2003 Indoor World Championship, Adam credited the Gas Company, along with his mentor Jordi Tarras, for helping develop what he believes is the most sophisticated trials machine in history. Adam's unusual style has now given him a powerful advantage over the competition, becoming an indoor world champion at only 20 years of age. It has been long recognised that Adam's talent would eventually take him to the top, but few realised just how soon that would be. Manuel Poggielli's love of motorbikes started when he was only 9 years old, and he has never looked back. He began riding pocket bikes, miniature Grand Prix style racing bikes, when he was 11 and continued until 1997 when he was 14. He had barely stepped off the pocket bike when he received an offer to ride in the World Grand Prix on an old 125cc. Although he finished 12th in Misano, Italy, he was on the circuit and began climbing his way to the top. Not wasting any time, Manuel was crowned Italian champion the following year. 1999 saw the youngster move into the Grand Prix with Aprilia and continue to impress, scoring points on 6 occasions, all this in his very first season. It wasn't long before Manuel was snatched up by Derby and climbed his first podium after placing 3rd in the Netherlands. This win did not go unnoticed, and Manuel found himself entering the 2001 season as the title contender. That year, Manuel did not disappoint and lived up to all expectations, taking 11 podiums, winning 3 races and finally becoming the 125cc world champion. He dedicated the victory to his father, who had unfortunately died a few years earlier. Age 18 and already world champion, there was no wonder Manuel had been compared to his idol, Valentino Rossi. The ride to becoming world champion is rarely a smooth one, and Manuel has had his share of crashes. His first major one couldn't have come at a worse time. In 1998, he was set to start in the World Championship at Imola, but unfortunately a desire to show off went horribly wrong, and Manuel crashed, breaking his collarbone. After 4 years competing in the 125s, 60 Grand Prix starts, 7 wins and 22 climbs on the podium, Manuel decided he was ready for the move to the 250s. With the dream to win a title in every class, Manuel was well on his way to discovering that dream. Manuel got straight down to business, clocking times that were up with the fastest, realising he could only get better. With every ride he gained more experience with the powerful bike, and his actions became less influenced by his 125cc past. His debut on the 250cc occurred in April 2003 in Japan, and what a debut it was. He started 23rd on the grid, only to take the lead in the 12th of 19 laps. He became the first rider to win his 250cc debut since 1988, when American Jim Phillies succeeded at the US Grand Prix. It appears that wherever he is racing and whatever he is racing, Manuel has the ability to win. If his debut on the 250 is anything to go by, then we're bound to hear a lot more of the talented Italian. Joel Smets is considered one of the finest riders of the modern era. His relentless attitude towards his sport is ever present as he continually gives 100%. Joel is considered one of the most, if not the most, successful 500cc riders. With 4 World Championship titles to his name, this is no surprise. Born in 1969, he started his career at 21 years of age. Despite starting relatively late, he finished his first season in a respectable 46th position. Little did he know, and little did anyone expect, that within a decade, the same man would be celebrating his 4th 500cc crown. Riding his new KTM in 2000, Joel clinched his 4th world title. Unfortunately, the following year, Joel fell into a slump from injury problems. 2003 saw a rejuvenated Joel back on the track, clocking up yet another win. With Joel consistently remaining in top form year after year, there's no telling how many more World Championship titles he's capable of winning.
second year in a row, the 250 motocross world champion, Michael Pichon.
Watching French motocross champion Michael Pichon speed around the track, it's no surprise that his nickname is Rocket. Born in 1976, he first began racing in 1982 when he was 6 years old. With such an early start, there's no surprise that his first Grand Prix came just 10 years later in 1992. His career with Suzuki began in 1997, and Michael has happily continued with the association ever since. In 2001, almost 10 years after he first competed in a Grand Prix, Michael became the 250cc world champion and repeated the feat in 2002. With the nickname of Rocket as well as sporting the bike number 1, Michael seemed destined to make an impression on the motocross world. And what an impression he has made. Italian Marco Milandri is the rising star of motor racing, having climbed from the basement to the top of the sport in under 5 seasons. Introduced to racing at just 6 years of age, Marco shone in motocross, mini bikes and the national 125cc championship, leading him to Grand Prix racing by the time he was just 15. He came close to the 125 titles in both his first 2 seasons, and it was this form which landed his big break. Marco moved to Team Aprilia early in 2000 with the bitter satisfaction of having won the title of World Vice Champion in the 125 class and the pride of having won 5 victories. He was a tender 17-year-old with no experience of the 250, but he boasted an unbounded desire to learn. Marco soon came of age, adding the quality determined to win to his resume. He knew the bike, was a team player, and began maturing both as a rider and as a man. In 2000, Marco added another record to his impressive list, that of the youngest rider ever to mount the podium in the 250cc class. And the following year, he broke the ice, making his 8th victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2002 250cc world champion and the youngest ever world champion in the class, Marco Milandri.
Having proved he had the talent, Marco then faced the difficult expectation of winning the 250 championship and returning to Aprilia, the title that was earned by Valentino Rossi in 1999. And he lived up to that anticipation. Needing to win the Australian Grand Prix in October 2002, he took to the challenge and crossed the line for a win. It handed him his first world championship and the record of being the youngest rider ever to win a 250cc title. Having turned heads for his meteoric rise on the track, Marco was appointed to join Spaniard Carlos Checa in Yamaha's assault on the MotoGP Championship for 2003. For a young lad, he has already suffered like a veteran, battled like a hardened champion, and discovered all the joy and pain, sweetness and harsh reality of the sport. Having clocked up an impressive number of firsts, the rider from Romagna, Italy, thanks the support of his father Dino, a great motorcycling enthusiast, for his success. His father is never too far away, accompanying him around the world. With his informal, open and friendly attitude, the Grand Prix circuit has not intimidated him. Marco is a naturally talented rider destined for success. Max Biaggi has a reputation for making history. The remarkable Italian became the first man to wear 4 consecutive 250 World Championship crowns. And in 1998, he became the first rider in a quarter of a century to win first time out on a 500. One of racing's all-time greats with more than 40 GP wins and 50 pole positions behind him, Max's status on the track is beyond doubt, and his off-track persona ensures he's a regular in celebrity magazines and gossip columns globally. A proud Roman who today lives in Monaco, Max rides for the Marlboro Yamaha team alongside teammate Carlos Checa. Since 1999, he's won 7 GPs on a Yamaha YZR 500 and more recently an M1, and continually challenges for the 500 crown. He won his first 3 titles in 1994, 95 and 96 with Chesterfield Aprilia, then underlined his talent by switching marquees to retain the crown with Marlboro team Kanemoto Honda. Max is arguably the smoothest and neatest rider of all. Considering the success he has enjoyed, it is perhaps surprising that Max was no boy racer. As a child, he was football crazy and dreamed of playing for AC Roma. Indeed, he's still a regular player, taking part in numerous charity matches with fellow celebrities. Max got into racing purely by chance when a friend invited him to ride the Vallelunga circuit in 1988. He was immediately hooked and made his race debut the following year, with his father helping out as a mechanic. 1998 saw his move to the 500s, staying with the Marlboro team. He made an instant impact, taking a runaway win at the season-opening Japanese Grand Prix. The following year, he made a successful job of switching machinery, working hard with his Yamaha team crew to develop a winner. He claimed a win in South Africa and second-place finishes in the Australian, Rio and Argentine GPs, but again, Max fell short of the coveted title. With a determination to succeed and a willingness to test new bikes, there's little doubting this 4-time 250cc world champ will race his way to a 500 world title. Today on The Champions, we take a look at some of the great motorbike riders, including charming Italian Valentino Rossi. One of the finest riders of the modern era, Joel Smets. A rider with more than 10 world titles to his name, Dougie Lampkin. And one of racing's all-time greats, with more than 40 GP wins, Max Biaggi. All that and more on The Champions. Now the father and son team seem to attract a lot of attention world over, and why not? Racing is in their blood. It's said that Valentino takes 1 year to learn and 1 year to win, and nothing has been more evident in his rise to the top of the Grand Prix circuit. Born in Urbino, Italy in 1979, Valentino began competition racing in mini-motos in 1990. His talent on two wheels soon attracted international attention, and his move up through the 125 and 250 ranks was swift, taking a world championship in both classes. As all professional bike riders know, you need to expect the spills to come with the thrills, and unfortunately for Valentino, he too has had the occasional bone-crunching crash, though to date nothing too serious. In 2000, the talented Italian made his debut for Honda in the 500cc class, and by 2001 had the chance to get behind the wheel. But will this mean a change in careers? Somehow, I don't think so.
Now it's only for passion, it's only for fun. I think we stay with the motorbike, I hope, for some years.
Once again exchanging two wheels for four in a rallycross race in Telde, Gran Canaria, Spain, Valentino raced against his father, Grazanio, in a warm-up for the annual Race of Champions Nations Cup. The event featured stars from motor rallying, motor racing and motorcycling, his first world championship under his belt, becoming the youngest rider in the world to win titles in 3 different classes. His riding style is daring, and the continuous pressure he puts on his opponents often brings them unstuck, leaving the track clear for the master to take the checkered flag. Willing to try any type of motorsport, Valentino was given the opportunity to drive in the Rally of Great Britain, driving a Michelin Peugeot 206 WRC. Valentino had already driven World Rally cars in the past, in events like the Michelin Race of Champions and the Bologna Rally Sprint, but this race was different. After testing sessions on gravel roads in the mountains of Italy, it gave the driver a chance to come to grips with the powerful machine in genuine rally stage conditions. Valentino's interest in rallying began at an early age, watching his father compete. Following in his father's footsteps, the skillful driver rallied. Charismatic Italian Valentino Rossi has a passion for high-speed machines, and his skill on the circuit is indicative of his mighty talent. The crowd-pleasing master of motorcycles developed his love of racing from his father, Graziano, a 250cc world champion place-getter in the 1970s. Now